Hey guys, it's really late. I've got a big event tomorrow that I'm pretty excited about, so I guess that's why I can't sleep. But I've also got just these goofy things in my mind about business and things, so it's probably the other reason why I can't sleep. I've just had a few conversations lately, or experiences as of late, with my business. I provide, service to entrepreneurs and people who supposedly want to grow and engage with their business and things like that. And it's just like, I don't get it. I was dealing with one where this person runs their business, and I say that with air quotes because it's really not. It's more of like a charity. And this person agreed to take a consultation with me and everything, and I thought we hit it off really well, and thought that it went well, and was really optimistic about it. Even though the more we talked, the more I literally wanted to light my hair on fire. As you can see, it worked. It was mind blowing. It really was. The more I talk to some people and get to know a little bit about their business and everything, it really blew my mind how this was running and how it was even still around, because it's not profitable. It's not, the business itself has no money. How do you run a business when the business itself has no money? But this person kind of fell into the same trap as a lot of other people have when it comes to hiring employees. And they hired, all these people that they knew, and wanted to basically form a club where we can all hang out and, hey, we all do our own thing, and we all do whatever we do, and then hopefully at the end of the day and at the end of the month we'll be able to pay our bills. Hey, why not? Sounds like a great plan, right? It was literally painful. And so, as nicely as I possibly could, I tried to be gentle and explain that this is not a business model, for one, and it's not a business model that's going to make anyone any money ever. I'm not been in the entrepreneurship world for very long, but in the short period of time that I've thrown myself into it and read more books than I have since I left school. Probably even including school in a shorter period of time. Actually, I know including school because I went to a public school and the education system is garbage. But anyway, I've thrown myself into this. So the person may see someone who, you've only been in this really short period of time, so you may know some things or whatever. No, seriously, I have studied a lot of these things for even without knowing it, without wanting to be an entrepreneur, just wanting to know how things work. I'm just that kind of person, that kind of nerd, where I want to know how businesses work, how businesses make money, how these things. So even before I wanted to be an entrepreneur, I was still looking at these things and making them a part of my life, which, kind of ironically, it just so happened that I wanted to go in this field later in life. But, so I don't know if that's it or what. And I tried to, as gently as possible, explain to this person that you can't continue this way. And miraculously enough, they've been around 2 years. I don't know how. I know it hasn't been easy from what they've said and what they've told me. And so, during this consultation, because it was really for something I was trying to test and something I was trying to implement I offered it literally for free, with a small cost just for their advertisements, and that I wasn't making a dime off of it or making a dime off of spending time with the consultation. So, this whole thing is me trying to do something positive for other people, and getting my feet wet into the industry, and something that I love and love doing, and trying to help people, trying to grow businesses. That's where I want to be. So, this was like maybe a free service, and maybe that was it. Maybe the fact that, there was nothing really on the line and nothing invested by that person was why nothing ever came of it. I don't know. Maybe it's part of, a little bit of all these things. It just doesn't translate for me. I explained to this person how to better their business and how things needed to be structured, and some immediate actions that could be taken, and some things that we would continue to work on, things that, hey, let's keep in touch kind of thing. And it all ended very well, I thought. And it turned out that I just got blown off, basically, by this person. I've tried contacting him multiple times, heard nothing back. So at this point, I'm counting it as a loss, and it is what it is. And you may ask, well, why? So you're offering this free service, and they actually never got to take advantage of it, which, is their loss, because this was literally something that could have. This is me giving you money. Frankly, I know what I'm doing, and I know how to do it, and I know, this is something that this person doesn't have any kind of knowledge in. And that's not to say anything bad about them. It's just the facts. And the more I talk to small business owners, the more I realize that goes for a good number of people. The majority that I've talked to anyway. And it's something, especially with how the internet and things are interfacing now, you can't just send direct mail and expect direct mail by itself to just be it. You can't just make one post on Facebook every 6 months and expect people to show up at your door. It's not how it works. And I went through all these things with them, and they, okay, yeah, sure, that sounds good, blah, blah. And it's like, I offered you, I might as well have taken the money that they were going to spend and multiplied it 100 times, potentially, and held it on a plate in front of him and said, "Here you go. Take this. Have some money." And, and I got blown off. That's amazing to me. And we didn't end up follow through because some of the immediate actions and stuff that I gave this person were to help structure the business so the business could actually make money, because as it stood, I could have made them $1 million in a week or even overnight, and that business would still have $0 because of the way it was structured. And so, I kind of said, well, and I explained this to them. I said, it doesn't matter if we make money, you're still going to be broke. And that's not even necessarily because of the financial situation they were in. It was just how the whole place was being run, and it's that simple. So if your business model doesn't put you in a position, in your business in a position to where it can even make money in the first place, it doesn't matter how much money you make. Because at the end of the day, if your business isn't being run correctly, if it's not structured correctly, it's not going to make any difference how much money you make. You're still going to be broke. It's literally that simple. Especially if you're having to worry about other people and employees and all these other things. If you can't even get a business of 5 people structured correctly, you might as well forget ever wanting to open another store, another restaurant, whatever it is, another location. You forget it. It's never going to happen. And I am not real positive on how much longer that this place that's pretty much kind of disguised as a business is going to even be around. They don't have a lot of positives going for them, in my opinion. Location was awful. Facilities were, dated, not aesthetically pleasing, which obviously you can fix, but you have to have money to do that, and the business has to have money to do that. It can't just be coming out of 1 or 2 people's pockets to pay for everybody else. It just doesn't work that way. And when you're each doing your own thing, there's no cohesion, there's no goal to meet, there's no one team, there's no nothing. And it blew my mind. And then it blew my mind even having these conversations, or this conversation with this person. And then, above all, to just, at the end of the day, after I leave, handshake, and, look to hear from you soon, to just sit there and blow off somebody who's willing and wanting. I wanted to help this business because I could see the shortcomings of it, and I could see the pitfalls that they were running into, and all these things, and I had solutions for them, and I gave them some of them to that individual who was in charge of the business, who has literally everything to lose. And I got blown off. That's amazing. That's amazing to me. I don't know that I'll ever understand it. Yeah. I'm just kind of counting it as a loss, I guess. And I mean, on top of that, another thing, kind of something that goes into another situation I encountered recently, if you're not, if you do not value the service or product that you provide, and you do not sell that product or service at the value that it is, meaning that if your price structure is not set up to where you will ever be able to make a living off of your product or service, you are wasting your time with trying to run a business. Wasting your time. Give up, hang the boots up, go work for somebody else, because it's not, you're never going to be happy. You're never going to make a living without working 10 times the hours that your competitors are working, because it's not because again, the structure is not set up properly. I was talking with somebody who has who's running their business and has state-of-the-art equipment. I mean, we're talking equipment that literally cost them in loans thousands of dollars. And this is something that they are, it's shiny object syndrome. And I know that just as well as anybody else. I started this business earlier this year in 2017, and I have yet to make $1 from it. And it's September, and I started it February, March, somewhere around there is when I was officially a business. And it's gone through an evolution from something that I wanted it to be to where I am now. It was providing a service to entrepreneurs, but it was not in marketing. It was in something else. But I kind of had a broader vision anyway, and wanted to provide more than just the one service. I wanted to provide a slew of services for businesses, small businesses specifically, and entrepreneurs, so that we could help them grow, we could help them, serve their clients or their customers, and we could do all these things, and I could do a bunch of different things under one business. And the focus has kind of gone back and forth over this year, but now this is really where I'm staking my ground right now to grow the business in the first place. So instead of providing the service to entrepreneurs in the industry I started out with, I'm now providing services to entrepreneurs within the industry, instead of being a part of the industry per se. It's a broader view, and all of that. And one of the when you're a consultant or a coach or someone like that, if your service isn't priced properly, you'll never be able to make a living. You'll never be able to quit your job. You'll never be able to do any of those things. And I know that firsthand because I'm still working my full-time job, still working 40 hours a week, and still trying to get the business off the ground and get my name out there and get things organized myself better than they already are, and be more consistent about posting, and be more consistent about doing lives and all this kind of stuff. And I haven't lately. The focus has been kind of off, and I've taken a little break um, for my family's sake as of late. So, my head's my head's still there. I still have a goal and a vision for what I'm doing. The implementation is falling short right now. And that's my problem, and part of that has been shiny object syndrome. But anyway, to get back to what we were talking about, the shiny object syndrome, this person I was talking to has all of this stuff. I mean, awesome stuff, like stuff I never even knew existed. And it turns out that these are things that high-end manufacturers have, places and corporations, places that have just stupid amounts of money. That's what they use. So you're literally talking super high quality when it comes to the product that they're selling. And they're in e-com, well, kind of. They're kind of stuck in the middle between e-com and regular, merchant. But they're starting locally, which is good, and they're building a following, getting their name out there. They've got customers pretty regularly now. And this person also I work with at my job, and so we were talking, and they said that, or I asked them, I said, what is your profit margin? And they looked at me, and they were like, well, like $4 or $5. And I said, how much does it cost for you to make this thing? And they were like, well, $6 to $8, because there's variations of it, and there's not a standard. The product kind of varies, but depending on, because they're custom products, so they kind of vary a little bit. But $6 to $8, so you're making $4 to $5. So you're not even making enough profit to make another shirt. Because that's what they make. So they make custom t-shirts. And there's not even enough profit there to buy another, or to make another one. So you're not even getting a 2-for-1 at this rate. And I explained to them, I said, you need to be selling your thing, your shirts, for way more money. At least double of what they're actually selling them for. I said, there is no reason why you shouldn't, and there's no reason why you can't. And I said, well, I'm kind of in a lower income area. Folks, let me put this real simple for you. There's no such thing as a low income area when you have a website. If you are afraid to raise your prices because of the area that you're located and you're on the internet, then you will not succeed. Because regardless of where you live, if you live in a low income area, if you are living in Montana where there's 100 people in 100 square miles, it does not matter if you have a website for your business, because that website enables you to go anywhere and sell what you have to sell. So, regardless of where you live, if you don't price your product for what it's actually worth, you're never going to make money. And I gave them this example because I've worked with someone else in the same industry, selling the same thing and selling to a different niche, but doesn't have anywhere near the high end expensive equipment and whatever else, running it out of their basement and doing it as a stay-at-home mother and freaking killing it. Like, amazing. When I talked with them and they told me how much they were selling, I couldn't, like, it blew my mind. And not even that it's not that their product is bad. It's not anything. They're just set up very intelligently, and it's set up to make money. It's set up the way your business should be. And the more I talk to people and the more I hear other people talk and whatever else in Facebook groups and all these other things with entrepreneur groups and whatnot, the more I realize that most people, at the very least, don't have their business set up properly. Don't know how to price their services or products. Are undervaluing themselves. And are not going to be able to succeed because of all of these things. Because if your business isn't structured properly, it can't survive. Eventually, you're going to run out of money. Eventually, you're going to have to shut down temporarily until you can get some more funds. Or you're going to have to do something drastic to save your business. You're going to have to go out and take a loan with retarded interest and all these other things. You're going to have to go out and sell, your car or something to give you money. Or get rid of your house and move back into an apartment. I don't know, whatever it is. Just to survive in the business world. It blows my mind. One of my favorite shows over the years was on Food Network and had Robert Irvine. It was called Restaurant Impossible. And shout out to Robert Irvine. Huge fan and fellow submariner. But he would show up at these people's restaurants and they would kind of do the same thing, which it kind of made me laugh because I saw the correlation as some of these situations played out. But he would show up and say, I can fix this for you. I know what's wrong. And all you have to do is listen and implement the things that I say to implement. And it never failed that these people would sit there and kick and scream and argue with him over something stupid like, oh, well, I don't want to raise my prices. Oh, I don't want to change the way I've been doing things for the last 10 years. Or whatever. Oh, I don't want to change my sign. I don't want to change the name of my business, even though the name is the reason why nobody's coming here. It's like, are you insane? This man has turned around how many businesses, and you can see it on TV, and these people have seen and know the show from TV, and they know how it is, and they know who he is, and they know how he works, and all of these things. And it's like, this man knows what he's talking about with restaurants. Why are you not listening to it? Why would you not be like, you know what? For a week or however long he stays here, I'm going to shut my mouth and just do what he says, because, you know, I have literally no other option at this point because my restaurant's about to be shut down. But never failed. Kicking and screaming, yelling and cussing at him and whatever else. It was like, it was just watching a train wreck every single episode. But I loved the show, because it achieved positives for a lot of people in the end, and a lot of people did start succeeding finally in their business because of some or all of the things that he did. And then it was always like, you know, you watch the episode, and at the end of the episode, they kind of give a summary or whatever. You know, they follow up a few weeks or months later. And there was always, you know, those few that said that, well, the owner decided to go back to what they were doing, and, you know, business is back to being garbage again or whatever. So that was always kind of like, yeah, you don't want a successful business is really what you're telling people. But I mean, anyway, I'm really bad at getting off on rabbit trails, if you haven't noticed. The person that I also know in the clothing industry who's killing it, you know, the only difference between these two businesses, besides not having high-end equipment and everything else to make their clothing, is the fact that they use a higher quality shirt than the person who does have the high-end equipment. And does that mean that, you know, they're gonna be more successful? No, not necessarily. You can sell ice to the Eskimos if you have the right angle, and if you're a good enough salesperson. But it's smart, because it may not be, you know, their product may not look, and I'm not saying that it doesn't, but it may not be it's not of the same kind of quality. But this person who has the lesser quality stuff is making more than 10 times the other person who does have the higher quality stuff. I mean, it's just funny, because it purely comes down to, it doesn't come down to equipment, it doesn't come down to the material, it doesn't come down to anything else but simply how their business is structured. That's it. One business is structured to make money, the other business at this point isn't. And hopefully I'll get to work with this person. I don't know. That's up to them. We're talking. We've been going back and forth and whatnot, and we'll see. But it blows my mind that, you know, you can only bring a horse to water. You can't make him drink. It's crazy. It's crazy, because to me, if I was in that position, and it's not even really that I'm not in that position, because I'm looking, and I want to pour myself into these people, and I want to pour myself into helping their business, and I want to do all these things. And at this moment in time, like I said, I haven't made a single dollar yet. I'm just trying to be there in a consultant's role, and provide the services I can. for now. And, I'm not worried about the money at this point. Yeah, trust me, I want to be making money so I can quit my job and I can do this full time. That's like probably one on the business goals. But and that's should be the first priority of any business, is to make money, because your business can't survive if you don't make any money. You have to be a capitalist in order to make a business work. If you're afraid to ask people for money, then don't get into business, because your business has to have money. It can't survive without it. And that's the way it goes. And people criticize, capitalists and stuff like that. Okay, well, you show me another economic system that can support itself other than capitalism, because it doesn't exist. Not in the long term, anyway. And I think a lot of business owners get tripped up by that and fall into that trap of, well, I want to serve these people and I want to give them whatever it is they're selling, and I want to make a difference in their lives and everything else, but I only want enough to just get by. Which, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that you can't do that and be successful. I'm not saying anything like that, but it's not a long-term business model that you'll be able to sustain, because, like I said before, you'll always run out of money somewhere along the line, because your products and services are undervalued. And if you can't price them correctly, you're wasting your time, you're spinning your wheels, and it doesn't really matter in the end, because you may last a few years, but it's not a long-term employment option. I hate to tell you, because your business has to have money to survive, and in order for the business to have money, you have to have things properly priced in order to do that. And on top of that, your business has to be structured properly, because if it's not, it doesn't matter how much money you make. You make $1 million and still be broke. So anyway, hope you guys are doing great, and I will have to get back to you soon. Maybe I'll be able to get some sleep. Who knows?